Guess what? Ken Rosenthal tweeting the Orioles are acquiring Trevor Rogers. There it is. Love the chime. Good sound effect from Sterno and the crew from the Marlins, according to The Athletic. Right over to Steve and Joel as the O's get Rogers.
Well, Trevor Rogers, good, strong-arm left-hander. His rookie year, he looked like he was going to be an ace, and it's taken some time, but he's, sort of been grinded through a little bit. It feels like an Orioles move, though, right? They didn't go the upper end. Does it mean, then, that Crochet and Skubal aren't going to get moved because they're making this Plan B move right now?
Yeah, I think Skubal definitely isn't getting traded. And early today, I heard the price on Crochet and the reluctance of the White Sox, unless they get that price, is making it harder and harder. And also the demand, either a contract or I won't pitch in the postseason, is created some problems there. I think the Dodgers are still trying for Crochet because they think he works perfectly there. But for this, I think the Orioles recognize Means, Wells, Bradish. They had 3 Tommy John surgeries this year. They're looking towards next year even, right? Those guys aren't all going to come. Means a free agent. The other 2 aren't going to come back quickly. They could pick up Eflin's $18 million option, who they've already acquired, plus Rogers, and, of course, go for it this year. And to your point, we were talking about it in the break. Rogers feels like the kind of piece of clay that a good analytical organization is going to clean up some stuff, and suddenly you're going to go, this looks a lot more like rookie Trevor Rogers than anything. I like it. And I'll add just one more thing. I asked an executive the other day about the Orioles adding $18 million next year in Eflin. I said, how? It doesn't feel like an Orioles thing. He said, 1, new owner, so we'll see a willingness to do that. But 2, he said, their positional group is going to be so good but so cost-effective, and they could keep plugging in if they want to trade Cedric Mullins, right? They have Hierstadt or Kauser to play center field and Mayo to play first base if they want to trade Moncastle, that it's going to be so inexpensive that they could afford some starting pitching next year. I think we've seen the beginning of that because Rogers arbitration-eligible pitcher as well.
Yeah, 2 more years of control with Rogers. Now, the other thing that's interesting to me is we know the Orioles are in on Tanner Scott. You would think that in this conversation there was the potential to couple that and make it a bigger deal. The fact that it's not a bigger deal makes me feel like the Orioles probably don't feel like they're going to get Tanner Scott, because otherwise you would have packaged it all together, given them everything that they wanted to make it work. And so it makes me think maybe no Crochet, no Skubal, no Snell, and potentially no Tanner Scott.
So can I ask you, as a former general manager, I keep thinking about this at the industry right now, because when I was talking to teams, they're like, the Scott price is too high for a guy who's going to pitch 20 times and then be a free agent. Is it possible that a bunch of veteran executives are sitting there going, that player has to be traded by 6 o'clock. Let's sit on our offer and see what happens, because they have to say yes to something. And I think there's probably 5 teams out there that have made an offer and are like, we'll take them if you say yes to it, and we'll live with it if not. But we know there is pressure on Miami. The player has to be traded by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, Brian Cashman's a veteran. Mike Elias is a veteran. The Dodgers veteran. Are there a bunch of veteran executives sitting out there for the rookie Peter Bendix going, yeah, it's a big price. How about at 5 o'clock? Is it the same price?
But here's the thing. Peter Bendix knows that he's probably already got an offer he's willing to take. He's now trying to build upon that offer with everybody else out there. Plus, if I'm one of those other teams, I better make sure that if I don't get him, I've got a plan B that I can close, and that plan B might be the same as the other 4 teams waiting for Tanner Scott. And so I think there's a game of chicken you can play, but only for so long, because you don't want to get left holding the bag. And I think that the other challenge we talked about for Garrett Crochet in the White Sox is that the asking price is high. I think it's even gotten higher and more stubborn because of maybe the criticism they've gotten for the other trade. That as a general manager, now I better score big to have a positive result on it. It may make it more prohibitive for a deal to get done. So it's going to be really interesting.
Can I throw in one last thing there? Is they know they could do it in the offseason, and maybe 29 teams will be interested, or some version of 29 teams. And the other thing is they're trending towards breaking the 1962 Mets record. Keeping Crochet might help them avoid that to some degree. That's a pretty big embarrassment.
It certainly is, and so we'll see where that ends up going, Adnan.
All right, fellas, thanks so much. Listen, 3.32 ERA his last 11 starts, so Rogers has been much better recently. John, I'm curious, what's the return? What did Baltimore give up?
Yeah, they give up Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers, so pretty steep return. That's to be expected in this kind of a market. I'm with you guys there on the panel. I do believe Trevor Rogers has got more in him. He certainly has been better lately, better than his 4.5 ERA. So, I get it from the Orioles standpoint. And, look, they're moving. They're trying to win. They've got a new owner. They've got a great prospect stash, and they're still working.